Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Living Beyond Limits. I think you all know I'm Reverend Jennifer Spear. We are a part of Centers for Spiritual Living. I welcome all of you, and for those of you who are joining us online, we welcome you to this service. And I'd just like to do a shout out to both Carolyn Tate and Marty Bunch. We miss you and wish you were here and send lots of love to you. Amen, absolutely. And this is just funny. Rosie, you're throwing me off. Rosie's in the front. She's always in the back. Hi. So let's begin this service by reading our mission statement that's on the front of your bulletin. We are a sanctuary where people can discover and reveal the presence of God within their own being and experience their oneness with all life. Through the realization of this inner presence of love and peace, we give way to the evolutionary impulse of the divine and become a beneficial presence in the world. So, that's what we're doing here really at Living Beyond Limits is we are creating this sanctuary here, this sanctuary where we feel loved and supported and encouraged, and the sanctuary where it is safe to explore our spirituality and what all that means, and to actually walk our own individual paths and to be supported in that. And as you all know, what happens is as we do this together, love gets magnified. As we do this together, we assist each other in our growth. And as we grow as spiritual beings, we automatically become a beneficial presence in this world. We automatically become more generous and kind and loving and compassionate because of what we talk about here, because of what we focus on here. And then we practice it with each other in this room. Then when we go out into the world, it's easier to do with the people that we don't even know. And so I say thank you to each and every single one of you who has answered that call and continues to answer that call of your own spirit, to be bringing your spirit into this world, to be bringing that presence of that infinite one that is everywhere present, but bringing that forward in your own way, in a way that is healing and beneficial and beautiful. So thank you all for that. Well, as you all are, I'm sure, highly aware, election season is fully upon us, yes? Does anybody here feel like they are just being bombarded by negative political advertising? Does anybody here feel overwhelmed yet? Do you feel exhausted yet? I don't know about you, but for me, all of those emails every single day and text messages and print ads and television ads and radio ads and all this stuff, all of those are aimed at us doing something, right? Whether it's voting for a particular thing or sending them money, and I get a lot of those every single day, right? And if you've noticed, most of those things, the way they come to us, they are fear-based advertising, right? It's like, the sky is falling, and you are the only one that can stop it. You are the only one that can save us. And you got to do it now. You know what? And I don't even think it matters which side of the aisle you sit on. I think that they are both the same pressure in a negative light from a negative place, talking about how horrible the other people are and how horrible the other side is. It's this negative bent on it. So it's the same on both sides. It's just different rhetoric. But it's the same MO, the same way they're operating. And it seems like it's impossible just to escape that at this moment in time. And what happens is when we are besieged by a fear-driven media, is it's really anxious. It's really easy for us to become anxious. It's really easy with all the stuff they are saying for us to be afraid for our future, to be afraid for our country. And it doesn't matter which side you're listening to, they're both saying you should be afraid. It all seems so big and so wearing. When we are listening to that voice of anxiety, it's so big we cannot hear the voice of hope that lives inside of us. That fear speaks of the worst thing that could possibly happen, and in that, our hope gets drowned out. Every single one of us in this room, I know we want to live in a society that's peaceful. We want to live in unity with each other. We want to have a working political system that actually works for all of the people in this country, that serves everyone in this country, and a political system that actually works together to serve everyone. And we want people to be loving and kind towards each other. You know, we want peace, we want harmony, we want unity, and we want people to care about each other and to care about the planet. That's what we really want. If you get out of your head and all the stuff that's going on and all the fear and listen to your heart, that's really what we want, is peace and unity and harmony and people caring about each other. So as we move through this month before the election, we really want to be able to maintain hope. We want to maintain hope for a good future, for a good world. We want to maintain faith and hope in that. Hope talks about the possibilities. Hope talks about the possibilities of rightness with the world. Hope lifts us up. Hope allows us to hold on to possibilities for a better future. You know, people all the time leave their jobs in hope that the next job will be better. People leave relationships in hope for a better relationship or a better life not being in that relationship. Hope motivates us a lot of the times. Hope motivates us and opens us up to something better happening. One of the principles that we teach, you all know this, it Centers for Spiritual Living, is that we are constantly creating. We are constantly creating by means of our consciousness. That means we are constantly creating by what we are thinking about, what we are focusing on, what we are giving our energy to, what our beliefs are. There's an author and a spiritual counselor named Noelle Stern, and she says, the spiritual precepts are true. We attract what we are. What we focus on grows. Where attention goes, energy flows. And energy, by our attention, becomes our experience. And so when we get caught up in all that negativity that's going on in politics right now, not only are we creating an inner world that feels anxious and fearful and uncomfortable, we're creating an inner world of worry and what ifs and fear, but we are also projecting that into the world and magnifying that outside of us too, because everything is connected and we're all part of this one whole. And so my proposition to you this week is actually not only are you casting your vote on November 5th, but you are casting your vote every single day by what you're giving your energy and your attention to, because that is being magnified even more by means of you. What we hold in mind, it's either fear or hope. And so let me ask you this. Have you already decided who you're voting for? Is there anything that you're going to hear that's going to change your mind? So then, if that's already the case, reading all those stories online about how horrible whatever is and what's going on, is it benefiting you in any way? You know, we have this negativity bias. We want to pay attention to the negative stuff. We want to do that more than the positive stuff, but it's not helping. It's not helping at this point in time. We already know. So, I think that we, each here, are called to figure out what it is that we hope for our country. What is our highest vision for our country? What is it that we want for our country? And then to give that our attention, to let that be the thing that informs our prayers and our affirmations and our meditations, our energy. That be the thing that focuses our attention. And so you have a little gold piece of paper inside your bulletin. And if you need a pen, will you raise your hand? Or if you need one of those little pieces of paper. And I'm going to give you a minute to write. What is your greatest hope for our country? What is your highest vision? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What are its qualities? What qualities does that describe? You know, is it love and unity or peace? What's your greatest hope for our country? What is it that you would like to have happen here? I think it's interesting. If we listen to our heads, the first thing our head says is, I want this person to win. But when we listen to our hearts, it's like, I want peace, and I want unity, and I want kindness, and that's what our hearts want. So Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith says, when we pray, we are not praying to a guy in the sky. We're doing the inner work, so that capital that, which already is within us can be set free. We're getting out of our heads and into our hearts and recognizing what it is that we want, and then recognizing that it already really is in potential so that we can set it free from within us. And so that thing that you wrote down, those things that you wrote down, we hold those things in our mind. We hold those in our consciousness. We affirm the truth, the capital T truth, like peace is already present. You might not see peace at the surface, but when you get behind all the noise, peace is right there underneath it all. You affirm that wisdom is inherent within every single one of us. That same intelligence that makes that tomato seed grow into that tomato plant, that intelligence is within every single one of us, in our bodies and acts through our minds. You affirm that. You hold that as true now. You recognize that beneath the surface, we are really all one. So the highest truth is then unity already exists. You see that in your prayer. You see that in your meditations, in your affirmations. You affirm that that unity is already true. You affirm and recognize that that infinite intelligence is already present and active everywhere. That love is really our nature. All of us, that love lives within us. So you say your affirmations, and you feel like the things you were just feeling. You feel that. You let yourself feel it because your feelings are a prayer. You know what? God doesn't speak in words. God speaks in images and in feelings. You see what you want. You feel what it is that you want. You affirm that. And then after you do that spiritual practice, you release it, knowing that the law of action works on your word and brings that into reality. That there is something that acts on your word and manifests that. You've created an opening in the universe for that thing to happen. We have faith in the allness of spirit, that is everywhere present. And we have faith that the law of cause and effect brings our word into form. Ernest Holmes says, faith is the key to confidence, assurance, the medium for creating a better tomorrow. But faith in itself is not the power. It is simply the way we use or channel the power. Our faith is a channel for God, Spirit, the infinite one, that infinite intelligence, to express itself in this world through our faith. The faith is an open channel. And so you may argue, yes, those things that you said are true, like peace is, but it's underneath everything, or love is already present, but I'm not seeing that at the surface. It doesn't appear to be in this physical realm. I'm going to read to you a paragraph out of Ernest Holmes' Ideas of Power, which is a compilation of talks that he gave. And so he's actually talking about how to do an affirmative prayer for someone else. And he says this: if it is for some situation that needs harmonizing, you say, quote, this word is for this situation in this home or in this office or in this country. There is harmony, there is unity, there is love, there is cooperation. This word removes every sense of confusion and doubt, uncertainty, antagonism, resistance, or resentment, or whatever it is that needs to be eliminated. You put it in the form of your own words and announce that it isn't there. Announcing there is no confusion, there is no adversarialness, there is no meanness, whatever it is that you're wanting to deny. This sounds funny because it is there. But you take a little piece of ice and you hold it in the heat of your hand and it will melt, become liquid. There are no opposites to God. There is only one power in the universe, and in such degree as it is used constructively, it will take precedence over everything else. Your word in alignment with truth changes circumstances because it's the truth. When our thoughts and our feelings are in alignment with that which is eternal truth, that which is unchanging, then there's nothing that can hinder that from unfolding in this world. Because then we are in alignment with the one and only power that exists. We are in alignment then with that infinite reality. And so the title of my talk today is Casting Your Vote. And I'm talking about that as we are being bombarded by the fear-provoking media and fear-provoking political rhetoric, we are called now to be a channel for truth, capital T truth. We are called to experience that truth as if it were true and happening now. We are called to affirm the highest and the best, and we are to have faith that our word accomplishes what it speaks because it's in alignment with truth. You could say, the sky is green, the sky is green. That's not going to do anything. But when you say the sky is blue, it creates an opening because you're already in alignment with truth. You're just simply not blocking that which is from flowing anymore. You get that blockage of your negative thinking, of your doubts and your fears out of the way so Spirit can unfold its own nature. And so our word of truth is the power and the presence and the activity of Spirit when we speak it. Did you hear that? Our words of truth are the power and the presence and the activity of Spirit unfolding itself. It's one and the same. Whatsoever does not belong to Spirit is eliminated, and truth is revealed. And so here's what I want you to do. I'm going to invite you to do. Have you ever noticed that when you see pictures of saints, they're always looking up? Have you noticed that? And in the Bible it says that Jesus looked up and prayed. You know, it's a mystical teaching to actually look up. To look up at this 45-degree angle. And have you ever noticed that when you're worried and when you're afraid, you're like this, oh my gosh, this is going to happen, and you're looking down? So Reverend Kathy Ann Lewis is one of my favorite ministers. She's a minister in Seattle, Washington, and she does an exercise of looking up. I've done this exercise with her at a class that I took where she has you look up at a 45-degree angle. And so what I want you to do is right now is just to think of something, look down like you do when you're worrying. Think of something that you're fretting about, something that a fear that you're holding on to, something that you're worrying about. It could be about this election. It could be about something in your own personal life. It could be a health challenge. But what I want you to do is to think about that and to feel that, whatever that worry is. Think about that and feel what it feels like in your body. And so that you're really in it. And now what I want you to do is just to look up, to lift your chin and your eyes to a 45-degree angle and just rest there. And listen. And feel your body. Notice your breathing. What happened? It went away. Somebody else said something. Relaxation and upliftment, and it went away. Anyone else? What happened when you did that? You heard it's going to be okay. Calm. Anyone else? Peace. I know that when I did that in that workshop, I don't remember what the problem was that I was talking about, and I did it in front of a whole group of people. Yammer, 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 yammer about the problem, and then she had me look midway, and it's like, well, you know, there's some solutions, and I looked up and sat there. There was no problem. The problem disappeared. When we look up, there's no problem. In spirit, that one infinite reality, there is no problem. In that spiritual presence, there is no problem. There is only one, in that presence, there is only infinite potentiality and wisdom and peace. Spirit does not have any problems. And so my invitation to you this week is when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel fearful or hopeless or helpless or afraid, look up. Look up and rest there. And from there, once you let go and realize there's really no problem, there's only infinite potential, there you say your affirmations. Because when you are looking up and you are in that consciousness of no problem, the law says, okay, no problem. And that's what gets manifest. Oh, no problem. No problem in consciousness, no problem out here. So we then affirm and visualize and feel and pray and image what it is that we want to experience, both in our own personal lives and in our country, what we want our lives to look like. Then you do that spiritual work of affirming and visualization and affirmative prayer for our country and for your life. We know that Spirit's nature is to express as peace, as harmony, as order, as boundless good, as love. That's my prayer. Love is being revealed. That's really all we need. Love is being revealed. And then rest in knowing that whatever it is that you have now convinced yourself is really real, the feeling of peace and harmony and whatever it is that you're wanting. So your job really is just to make welcome within you that activity of Spirit. And you'll know that it's the activity of spirit when it's in alignment with your own spiritual nature. You're not in your head. You're not in your fear. You're not in your worry. You're here. Our job is to make room for that, capital T, that which is eternal. We make welcome spirit, and then spirit does the work. We don't have to do the work. We just have to make room for it. And the result is then we will be moving through this election season with greater peace and greater confidence, and actually being a beneficial presence, having a positive impact on what happens in the world. Our fear and our worry doesn't have a positive impact. Our opening to the good has a positive impact. We will be being a beneficial presence. So look up, rest there, affirm your desired outcome, feel it, see it, know it, and know that spirit is expressing itself in everyone, everywhere, every moment. And so I'm going to close today with a poem. It says, "Hope is frail and wispy, her iridescent bones shining through her translucent skin. What good is hope, you might ask? Her name nothing more than a four-letter word. But the God knew the true power of hope when she was created only a half a second after humanity. You see, she is small enough to fit into the human heart, yet strong enough to never give up and never give out. Most importantly, hope has magic eyes that can see into the future and portend amazing possibilities. And when hope reunites with her big sister faith, oh, watch the miracles happen. For when the miracle sisters are united, faith feeds hope. And what was once a wispy dream is fleshed out into tangible reality. Faith, you see, is the substance of things hoped for. And so blessings to every single one of you as you bring your spirit into this world at this time on our planet where it is so needed. Blessings to every single one of you. And so I invite you to join me as we turn our attention to the truth, the capital T truth, that really there is only one. And it is that one that right now expresses itself in and through and as every single person on this planet. That one presence, that one power is the very essence of love. It is the very essence of absolute intelligence and creativity. It is life. It is that animating principle of life within each and every single one of us. So I know right now that it is that love and that intelligence that is expressing itself fully, boundlessly, endlessly in and through every person in our country right now. That intelligence is awakening something within each of us. The love of spirit is having its way within each and every single one of us. And it is leading us and guiding us into the highest and the best decisions. We know right now that spirit is having its way, and we open ourselves to that. And we see that, we image that, we hold on to that happening all around us. For even if we can't see it at the surface this moment, it is still true. And like an ice cube melting in our hand, we hold that truth, knowing that that which is unlike the truth has nothing to support it and melts away as we hold the truth. And so we commit ourselves between now and this election to hold the truth for our country, to hold the truth for the people, for the politicians, for everyone, knowing that Spirit, the divine, that one infinite reality is firmly in place everywhere, all of the time. And so we look to that. We place our hope and our faith and our trust in that presence of good, that presence of love, that presence of intelligence. And so we speak, each one of us, this word also for this entire world, knowing that right where every person is, every world leader, every politician, every business owner, every mother and father, every person, that Spirit right now is the very essence of who they are. It is what they have come from. It is what they have come as. And there is nothing blocking that. There is nothing delaying that. There is nothing hindering that. Spirit is expressing in its fullness because it's the only power. And so we rest in that truth. And so I release this word into that creative law of the universe that always says yes. We rest in that truth. And we rest in that yes with gratitude in our hearts. And so I release this, and I invite you to join me in saying, and so it is. And so I do have some invitations for you, and one, I actually just thought of it. I've been wanting to do something special between now and the election every Sunday. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite anyone in this audience, Shelley Reeve, anyone in this audience to write a prayer for this election, and we will start reading them as part of the service on Sundays. So anyone that would like to do that, I would love to have you write a prayer, and we will read it up here as part of the Sunday service. Great. Okay, we are having a pancake breakfast instead of being here on November 3rd. The first 2 weeks in November, they're using this building for voting, so we don't have access to it. So the 3rd, we're going to have a pick your own price fundraiser pancake breakfast. It is also going to be in conjunction with, we are teaming up with Lutheran, the Lutheran, say it, Lutheran Social Services of Long Beach. And what we're doing is we are collecting new and gently used kitchen items. It's for people who are moving out of homelessness and moving into a place to help them put together a kitchen. So anything that you would use in a kitchen, you can donate. And also, they're starting to collect also games that families can play together. So either one of those or all of the above, whatever you want to do. And then the second Sunday of November, we're going to go to El Dorado Nature Center and do some forest bathing and feed our souls and be outdoors and do some little ritual and have some good time outdoors. I wanted to let you know that Mike and Pat are still working with the homeless. If you would like to join them, talk with them. We have prayer support after service. Any of the practitioners are happy to sit down and do an affirmative prayer with you. We have a ministry of prayer box. You can put a request in. We'll support you during the week. We have prayer shawls you are invited to take with you. Our Sunday talks, we have some new equipment, so the talks will be back up again, are posted usually on Monday evening, and we really invite you to share them with friends and anyone who might be interested, anyone who can use this message, because as you know, everyone is spinning right now. So, and to follow us on Facebook and check in on Meetup and say you're coming, and follow us on Instagram and then share those Instagram posts. And so I invite you to repeat after me, good fills my life now. I recognize it. I savor it. I own it. I live it. And so it is.